Hello, my name is Hannah Benavente, and this is my portfolio presentation for ED661, Language and Curriculum Theory of Development for Spring 2024. There are 4 parts to this portfolio. Number 1, we have the needs analysis. Number 2, the SMART goal. Number 3, the curriculum map. And number 4, we have the lesson plan. First, we have the needs analysis, which is collecting information about our students' needs and preferences to guide our planning and teaching. My needs analysis is separated into parts, part 1 being the all about me. This part of the needs analysis asks students questions about themselves, their parents, and English speaking in the home. It is made up of fill in the blanks, check boxes, multiple choice, and short answer questions to help students who may struggle to answer on their own. Part 2 is all about my reading. Students will complete a checkbox that asks them to rate their reading abilities. This part also asks students a few questions about their reading interests, and students are able to showcase their writing abilities through a prompt of why they think reading may or may not be important. Part 3 is on reading fluency, and it is leveled by 3 types of passages: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Students will be given 1 minute to read as many words from the passage, and while the student reads, the teacher will take note of the types of errors the student makes and how many words the student read correctly after the 1 minute timer. And the last part of the needs analysis, part 4, is on reading comprehension. Just like the fluency part, the passages for comprehension are leveled by primary, intermediate, and advanced. Students will be tasked to read the passages to themselves and answer the comprehension questions that follow to the best of their abilities. If the student is unable to complete the comprehension part on their own, the teacher may read the passages and questions out loud to the student and have them answer orally. The next part of the portfolio, part 2, the SMART goal. It's used to create a clear plan for students' targets and goals. When creating a SMART goal, keep in mind the following to help guide you. Is the goal specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And is the goal timely? My SMART goal was that by teaching a 3-week reading lesson, 100% of my 4th grade ESL students will progress at least 1 learning level with the reading skill of being able to identify and determine the topic, main idea, and supporting details of a text. This means that by the end of the 3-week period, all students will have a minimum passing grade of at least 80% on their common formative assessment. So is this goal specific? What exactly do I want accomplished? Students will progress at least 1 learning level on the learning target scale that I've attached here on this slide. They may work their way from the level 1 all the way as far as a level 4. Is this goal measurable? How will I know when students have achieved this goal? At the end of the 3-week period, all students will have a minimum passing grade of at least 80% on their common formative assessment. Next, is this goal achievable? Through the use of various resources available, such as reading textbooks, laptops, supplemental worksheets, educational websites, and the multiple opportunities students will have to review and practice the skill, this goal can be achieved. Why is this goal relevant or significant? I have found that identifying the topic, main idea, and supporting details is a skill students have difficulty with, as the required use of text for this is informational. Informational texts can be quite lengthy and are usually less appealing to the younger audience. In addition, sometimes the topic and main idea is not explicit, requiring students to use inferencing skills as well. And lastly, timely. When will this goal be achieved? The goal is based off of a 3-week plan starting from February 5th and targeted to be achieved by February 23rd. The third and next part of my portfolio is the curriculum map, showing where within a curriculum student learning outcomes are taught and assessed. My curriculum map is made up of the time frame, skills, objectives and scale, resources, and assessments. I have attached a sample of Week 1 from my curriculum map where the scaffolded target skill and objective is for students to be able to identify the topic and main idea of a picture, simple sentence, or short text. Resources to be used for this week is a Google Slides presentation that includes students' notes for daily review and pictures for students to start putting their skills to practice. There is also a partner activity planned for this week with the use of a task card scavenger hunt that also encourages the students to get up and walk around the classroom. Supplemental worksheets will also be given for independent work, and for early finishers or an end-of-the-week incentive, students will be allowed to go on Get Epic, an educational reading website. Lastly, the assessments to be given in this first week will be the needs analysis, the pretest of the common formative assessment, and exit ticket number 1. And the last part of my portfolio, part 4, the lesson plan. The teacher guide and roadmap of what students need to learn, how it will be taught, and how their learning will be measured. My lesson plan consists of the following parts: the subject, grade, date and duration of the lesson, and the focus. It will also include the standard, the learning objectives in the form of student-friendly I-CAN statements, anticipatory sets, and instructional strategies. For my anticipatory sets, I always like to start off with a student-friendly informational video, interactive videos, and sing-alongs. My instructional strategies consist of the following. To introduce the lesson, after students have watched the video of the day, they will take notes of the new skill we are going to be learning. We will also review the notes daily as a class. Next is the teacher-guided practice. This is when I will model and guide students on how to identify the topic, main idea, and supporting details through the use of pictures, simple sentences, short text, and work our way to grade-level text. After, students will participate in collaborative learning, whether it be through whole class, group, or partner practice, where they will practice the focus of the week together. Then, students will work independently with the use of supplemental worksheets or their reading textbook and workbooks, practicing their own knowledge of the skill. And lastly, assessments. Through teacher-made exit tickets, quick checks, and common formative assessments, the teacher will be able to gauge students' progress of learning the skill. The weekly schedule consists of a scheduled daily routine for 3 weeks, each week having a specific focus as the skill is scaffolded throughout the weeks. Also included in the lesson plan is the accommodation and modifications for the special education students, English language learners, and at-risk students. Some examples are scaffolded resources, one-to-one teacher and peer help, repeated and simplified directions, extra time to complete work, and homework for extra review and practice. We also have the materials and resources section that I've categorized by what both the teacher and students need. I try to include a variety of resources that include both digital and traditional resources such as laptops, pencil, and paper. More resources included in this lesson are supplemental worksheets for students' independent work. I have 2 worksheets shown here. The first worksheet tasks students to use certain crayons to highlight the topic and main idea of the text, and then asks students to organize their answers through a web. And the other worksheet that we have here tasks students to identify the main idea and supporting details, but scaffolds the skill with the visual representation of an ice cream cone as the main idea and the scoops being the details. We also have the collaborative learning resources that I like to use to get the students up and moving. First, we have the main idea task cards that have students work together with a partner and do a little bit of a scavenger hunt in the classroom. And then next, we have the ice cream cone craft that tasks students to work in a group and match the supporting details to the correct main idea. After they've done that, they'll glue them together, they'll decorate them, and they present as a group. And lastly, we have the assessments. We have the needs analysis and the pretest that usually is given before the lesson, the exit tickets and quick check given throughout the lesson, and the post-test that will be given at the end of the lesson. These assessments help the teacher gauge their students' progress and current level of learning. That's actually all for my portfolio, and thank you very much.